I used to think I had it all. A life that looked like it was taken straight out of a movie. I had a successful career, good looks, and by my side was a woman who everyone said was stunning, my wife. We had everything, the house, the car, the vacations, the love that everyone envied. At least, that's what I thought. We'd been married for 4 years. 4 years of laughter, late-night talks, weekend getaways, and the kind of trust that made you feel safe. I never doubted her, not once. I gave her full access to everything, my heart, my life, even my phone. I mean, why wouldn't I? She was my partner, my best friend, the mother of my future kids. Or at least, that's what I believed. But one night, everything changed. It started with something small. Something most people would ignore. We were lying in bed after a long day, and she got a message. Just a simple buzz on her phone. But instead of checking it like normal, she grabbed her phone quickly, turned the screen away from me, and locked it. Not just once. She did it again, and again. That moment felt off. Now, I'm not the type to jump to conclusions. I've always believed that trust is the foundation of any relationship. So I didn't say anything. I just watched and waited. But over the next few weeks, I started noticing things, little signs that didn't make sense before. She became more distracted. She spent more time on her phone. Sometimes, when we were out together, she'd leave the room to take calls. Always alone, always urgent, and still, I told myself it was nothing. Work stress, maybe family issues, anything but what I feared most. Then came the night that broke me. I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was intuition, maybe it was fear, or maybe it was fate. But while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed again. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to catch my attention. I picked it up. I don't know what I expected, probably a work message or something harmless. But instead, there it was. A text message from someone named Alex. And it wasn't just a casual message. It was intimate. It was personal. It was everything I never wanted to see. My hands shook. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. I read it again, hoping I misunderstood. Hoping it was a joke. A misunderstanding. But no, it was real. They weren't just talking. They were planning something. A trip. A secret meeting. Words like "I miss you" and "I can't wait to be with you" stared back at me like daggers. I felt like I was drowning. When she came out of the bathroom, I didn't look at her. I couldn't. I handed her the phone and asked one question: who is Alex? She froze. Her eyes went wide. She tried to lie at first. Said it was just a friend. A coworker. Someone I should not worry about. But I knew. And so did she. What followed was the worst hour of my life. Screaming, crying, denials, confessions. Everything spilled out like an open wound. She admitted it. She said it wasn't serious. That it meant nothing. That she still loved me. But none of that mattered anymore. Because in that moment, I didn't feel like a husband. I felt like a fool. How could this happen? How could the person I trusted the most betray me like this? Was I not enough? Was I blind? Or was I just too busy believing in our perfect life to see that it was built on lies? I sat there, staring at the wall, trying to process everything. And all I could think was, how could she do this to me? After that night, the night I found the message from Alex, everything changed. The world didn't stop turning, but mine did. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I just kept thinking about those words. I miss you. Can't wait to be with you. Who was this guy? How long had this been going on? I needed answers. So, while she was at work the next day, I went through her phone again. Not because I wanted to. Not because I enjoyed it. But because I had no choice. I had to know the truth. And what I found broke me even more. It wasn't just one message. It was hundreds, thousands, maybe, months of texts, voice notes, photos. All with this guy named Alex. Some were short and casual. Others were filled with emotion. And some made me feel like I was being stabbed over and over again. One text said, "I wish I could hold you right now. You're all I think about." Another one read, "When are we gonna run away together?" And then there was the one that hit me hardest, "He doesn't love you like I do." That last message, it wasn't just painful. It was humiliating. Because in that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't a fling. This wasn't a mistake. This was real. She had feelings for him. Maybe even loved him. And worse, he believed she loved him too. I sat there, staring at the screen, my hands shaking. My heart felt like it had turned to stone. I thought back to all the times she came home late. All the times she said she was working late or hanging out with friends. Every excuse suddenly made sense. Every lie fell into place. But I didn't cry. Not anymore. This wasn't about sadness anymore. This was about betrayal. When she got home, I confronted her again. This time, I had proof. Screenshots, dates, names, everything. At first, she tried to deny it. Said I had no right to look through her phone. That I was violating her privacy. As if she was the victim. But I didn't let her off the hook that easy. I showed her the messages. I told her I knew everything. And finally, after minutes of silence, she looked down and whispered, "Yes. I've been seeing someone else." That was it. No tears. No begging for forgiveness. Just a simple confession. Like it was nothing. Like I was nothing. And in that moment, I made a decision. I would not be a victim. I wouldn't sit around feeling sorry for myself while she moved on with her life. No, if she thought she could humiliate me like this and walk away without consequences. She had another thing coming. I started thinking about what I could do. What kind of revenge would make her feel even a fraction of the pain she caused me? Would I tell everyone? Would I expose her online? Would I ruin her career, her reputation, her so-called perfect new life? I didn't have the answer yet. But I knew one thing for sure. She was going to pay for what she did. Not with money, not with apologies. But with shame, with exposure, with truth, because secrets hurt the most when they're shouted from the rooftops. After that night, I didn't sleep. Not because I couldn't, but because I refused to. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. I heard his voice. I read those messages over and over again like some kind of punishment I gave myself. But by morning, something inside me had changed. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was angry. And more importantly, I was focused. Because here's the thing about betrayal, it doesn't just break you. It shows you who people really are. And once you see the truth, there's no going back. So I made a decision. I would not cry. I would not beg. I would not pretend like nothing happened. No, I would act, and I would make sure she never forgot what she did to me. That's when I started building the plan. Step by step, like putting together pieces of a puzzle. Only this puzzle wasn't for fun. This one was for revenge. First, I gathered everything. All the messages, the photos, the screenshots, the dates, the times, every single proof that showed exactly how long this had been going on, and how deeply she lied. I organized them into folders. Backed them up in multiple places. Just in case. Then I asked myself, what do I want the world to know? Because here's the thing, if she thought she could destroy my life quietly, while smiling at the mirror every morning like nothing happened, she was wrong. I wanted everyone to know the truth. Her friends, her co-workers, her family, even strangers on the internet. If she was going to walk around with a fake smile and pretend she was the perfect wife, then I would show them all who she really was. So I decided to go public. Not with a simple post. Not with a rant on social media. No, I was going to make a video. A real one. A powerful one. Something that wouldn't just get views, it would burn her reputation down to the ground. I bought a camera, set it up in my apartment, recorded myself sitting in front of a black background. No music, no flashy effects, just me, just the truth. In the video, I told the whole story. How we met, how we built a life together, how I trusted her with everything, and how she threw it all away for a lie. I showed the messages. I read them out loud. Every word felt like a punch to the chest, but I kept going. Because this wasn't just about pain anymore. This was about power, and I knew that if I wanted this to go viral, I needed to hit people where it hurt. So I included something else. Something that would make even her allies question her actions. I tracked down Alex. Not hard. His Instagram was public. Her phone had saved his number. One search, one call pretending to be a friend, and I got enough information to build a full picture. He wasn't just some guy. He was married too, and he had 2 kids. So I reached out to his wife. Not directly. I didn't want drama. I just sent her an anonymous message with screenshots of their conversations. Of him saying he loved her wife, while secretly planning to leave her for my ex. She responded with silence at first. But 2 days later, I saw a post on her Instagram. A single photo of a wedding ring being thrown into the trash. Caption: never trust a man who says he'll always stay. That's when I realized, this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about justice. For everyone who'd been lied to. For everyone who'd been cheated on. For every man who sat in silence while his woman played games behind his back. So I added that part to the video too. How Alex lost everything. How his wife found out. How they were now separated. Because here's the rule of revenge: if you're going to burn someone down, make sure they don't have a place to run. When I finished editing the video, I uploaded it. Title: She cheated on me. So I made sure everyone knew. Description: this is the truth. No filters. No lies. Just what happens when you betray someone who gave you everything. Hashtags: hashtag cheating wife, hashtag real story, hashtag expose the truth, hashtag infidelity, hashtag revenge. I posted it late at night. And I waited. By morning, the comments started coming in. Hundreds, thousands, and just 12 hours after uploading, the video passed 100,000 views. It was working. My pain was turning into power. And for the first time since that night, I smiled, because I finally understood something. This wasn't just revenge. It was justice. And she was going to pay for what she did, in front of the entire world. I remember waking up that morning like it was any other day. The sun came through the blinds. My phone buzzed with a few messages. I reached for it without thinking, just another Monday. But this wasn't just another day. It was the day everything changed forever. When I opened my YouTube app, I couldn't believe what I saw. My video had passed 100,000 views. Then 200,000. By noon, it hit 500,000. And by nightfall, it had crossed 10 million. 10 million. That number didn't feel real. It still doesn't. I sat there, scrolling through comments, trying to understand why people were watching. Was it curiosity? Was it sympathy? Or was it something deeper? People weren't just watching, they were reacting. Some called me brave, said I did the right thing, that every man should watch my story and learn how to protect himself. Others said I went too far, that I shouldn't have exposed her like that it was a private matter turned into public shame. But the most shocking part, she became famous, not in a good way, not in the way you dream about when you're a kid, but infamous, a name on everyone's lips, a cautionary tale. Have you seen that cheating wife video? Did you see what she did? Bro, he showed everything. And he did. Because in that video, I didn't hold back. I shared every message, every screenshot, every photo that proved the lies. I read them out loud, word for word, so no one could say I twisted the truth. There was one moment in particular that broke the internet. A clip of her saying to Alex, he doesn't even suspect anything. He thinks I'm perfect. That line alone got shared over 500,000 times. 500,000. People added subtitles. They made memes. Some even recreated the scene on TikTok. One guy dressed up like me and played the role of the betrayed husband. Another dressed up like Alex and acted out his confession. It wasn't just a video anymore. It was a movement. And then came the consequences. First, her Instagram. She tried to delete everything. Changed her username. Made her account private. But it was too late. Screenshots were everywhere. People tagged her in jokes, in insults, in warnings. Then came her job. She worked at a marketing agency, nothing huge, but enough to build a career. She had clients who trusted her, co-workers who respected her, bosses who promoted her, until they saw the video. One of her clients posted a comment under my video, "We just let her go. We don't work with liars." Another wrote, "We're reviewing our partnership. This behavior is unacceptable." Within days, she lost almost all of her clients. Her boss called her in for a meeting. They didn't fire her officially, but they gave her a choice: resign or face a full investigation. She resigned, just like that. No severance, no goodbye party, just silence. And then came the final piece of justice. Alex, his wife, saw the video. Someone sent it to her directly, tagged her in a post, maybe even messaged her with screenshots. Whatever happened, it hit hard, because within 2 days, Alex was gone. His Instagram disappeared. His LinkedIn profile vanished. His apartment was empty. Rumor has it he moved back in with his parents. And his kids, they stopped posting pictures of him. No birthday wishes. No dad and me photos. Just silence. And in that silence, I found peace. Because here's the thing about truth: once it's out, it can't be buried again. And I didn't just expose a cheater. I exposed an entire web of lies. I watched everything unfold like a movie. Only this time, I wasn't sitting in the audience. I was the director. And I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't just revenge. It was a warning to every woman who thinks she can play games with a man's heart. To every man who thinks he has to suffer in silence. And to anyone who believes that betrayal comes without consequences. Because now, the whole world knows her name. And they'll never forget it. It started with a letter. A thick envelope. Official looking, with a seal I didn't recognize at first. When I opened it, my heart dropped. She was suing me for defamation, for invasion of privacy, for emotional distress. Can you believe that? She was the victim now. The lawsuit claimed I had ruined her life, that I had taken private moments and twisted them into something ugly, that I had turned her into a joke on the internet, that she couldn't find work anymore, that people stared at her in public, that even her own family had distanced themselves. And the worst part, she wanted money, not an apology, not a conversation, not even a chance to fix things, just compensation for the damage I had done. I laughed when I read it. Then I got angry. Then I got ready. Because here's the thing about truth, once it's out, it doesn't go back in. And if she thought she could erase what happened by taking me to court, she didn't know who she was dealing with. So I hired a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, the best one I could find. Someone who specialized in online reputation cases. Someone who knew how to fight back when someone tries to twist the truth. And guess what? We won. Not just partially, completely. The judge ruled that I had every right to expose what happened. That I was protecting myself. That I wasn't spreading lies, I was sharing proof. That I hadn't invented a story, I had told my story. One that millions believed. And the final blow, the court ordered her to pay my legal fees. Because she brought this on herself. That moment felt like justice. Real justice. Not revenge. Not hate. Just the truth, backed by law. But the fallout didn't stop there. Her life had changed completely. She used to post pictures of her morning coffee, her designer clothes, her weekend brunches. Now, nothing. Her Instagram was silent. Her apartment was empty. She moved back in with her parents, somewhere outside the city, where no one knew her name. At least, that's what I heard. Some people said she tried to start over under a new identity. Changed her name on social media. Tried to get a job at a small local store. But rumors follow people, and hers followed her everywhere. As for Alex, he disappeared. Literally, his Instagram is gone. His LinkedIn profile vanished. His old co-workers won't talk about him. Even his kids stopped mentioning him publicly. I don't know where he is now. Maybe he found a way to hide. Maybe he learned his lesson. Or maybe he's still trying to figure out how everything fell apart so fast. But I do know this, he won't be cheating on anyone anytime soon. Now, what about the people around me? My friends. Some stayed, some left. One of my closest guys, Mike, stood by me the whole time. He said he would have done the same thing. Said I did the world a favor by showing everyone what cheaters really look like. Another friend, Jake, stopped talking to me altogether. Said I went too far. That I should have handled it privately. That I shouldn't have made it a show. I respected his opinion, but I didn't agree with it. Because sometimes, silence is worse than exposure. Sometimes, letting someone get away with betrayal just teaches others that they can do the same. And I didn't want that to happen again. Not to me, not to anyone else. So I kept going, even when people judged me. Even when some called me bitter. Even when others said I should move on. But how do you move on when your entire life was built on a lie? How do you forget the person you loved more than anything betrayed you without hesitation? You don't, you heal, you grow, and sometimes, you make sure no one ever forgets what happened. Because here's the truth I learned through all of this, meat isn't always cruel. Sometimes, it's the only way to survive. Sometimes, it's the only way to feel alive again. And sometimes, it's the only path to redemption. You might be wondering, why did I tell this whole story? Was it just to get revenge? To hurt her? To make people feel sorry for me? No. I told this story because I want men like you, real men who care about their relationships, their lives, and the dignity, to learn something before it's too late. Because if there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's that betrayal doesn't knock on your door with warning signs. It sneaks in, quietly, slowly, and by the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. So let me tell you what I wish someone had told me years ago. Let's start with the first sign. 1. She started hiding her phone. This wasn't obvious at first. It was subtle. She'd lock it faster when I walked into the room. She'd take calls in the bathroom. She'd laugh at her screen without telling me what was funny. And I ignored it. I thought I was being paranoid, that I shouldn't spy on someone I trusted. But here's the truth: when someone hides their phone, they're hiding something. If you notice this, don't brush it off. Don't pretend it's nothing. Pay attention, because 9 times out of 10, there's a reason she doesn't want you seeing what's on that screen. 2. Her priorities changed. She used to love spending time together. We'd cook dinner, watch movies, talk about our future. But slowly, those moments became rare. She started saying she was tired more often, or busy, or stressed, and instead of asking questions, I gave her space. Big mistake. When your woman starts pulling away emotionally, physically, or socially, it's not just a rough patch. It's a red flag. Don't ignore it. Talk to her. Ask questions. Be honest. Because silence is how cheaters win. 3. She stopped respecting your boundaries. We used to share everything. Our passwords, our thoughts, our dreams. But at some point, she started pushing back when I asked about her day. She called me controlling, accused me of not trusting her. And I believed her. I thought I was the problem. But guess what? Cheaters always flip the script. They make you feel guilty for caring. They make you feel like the bad guy for loving them. That's manipulation. And if you hear yourself saying, I don't know anymore, maybe I'm just overreacting, stop. Take a breath. And ask yourself, why does she act like I'm the one doing something wrong? 4. Ignoring the problem only makes it worse. I avoided confronting her for weeks. I kept telling myself it was nothing, that I was imagining things, that I should trust her. But ignoring the truth doesn't protect you. It protects her. It gives her time to lie, to plan, to build a life outside of yours. And by the time you finally open your eyes, she's already gone. So if something feels off, don't wait. Talk now. Check now. Act now. Because once the damage is done, it's nearly impossible to fix. 5. Protect yourself before it's too late. I used to think love meant giving everything. Your heart, your trust, your life. But I've learned something painful, yet powerful. Love isn't about giving everything. It's about protecting what matters. So here's my advice to every man listening: if you suspect something, check her phone. Backup evidence, just in case. Set financial boundaries, don't let her control everything. Know where she goes, who she talks to, and what she's hiding. Don't be afraid to ask hard questions. Because here's the reality: not every woman deserves your blind trust. Some will use it against you. Some will destroy you while smiling to your face. And the saddest part, they'll walk away acting like you're the one who ruined everything. So don't let that happen to you. Speak up, stand tall, fight back, because you deserve better. You deserve honesty. And most importantly, you deserve respect. So remember this: meaty isn't always cruel. Sometimes, it's the only way to survive. And sometimes, It's the only way to remind someone that you are not a fool. You never were, and you never will be again.